Hey guys, it's Dr. May. How's it going today? Well, yesterday I made a video about receiving. So to balance out the dialectic, today I wanted to make a video about giving. Okay, so giving and receiving in their synthesis is about the ebb and flow of relationships. It's a give and take pattern, right? That is the flow between two or more people, right? There's a give and a receive. It's important for us to deal with what obstacles get in the way of give and receive, and to also find ways to make the giving and receiving more from the heart, more from our wise mind. Okay, so today we're going to take a deeper dive into giving. All right, so if you missed my receiving one, check that out too, because it's a nice companion to this video. All right, here we go, almost. Aha, okay. So I'll call this one giving, how to share from a place of abundance. Okay, so the how-to comes a little later in the video, all right, but first we're gonna start here, okay, with the same question I started out in my receiving video. So if you were to reflect on yourself and your experience, what's easier for you? Is it giving or receiving, all right? A lot of people that I've asked this question to seem to say that giving is easier, that receiving is a lot harder, right? But giving could also be a challenge too. All right, so we're going to start today by talking about some of the challenges that come with giving, some of the things that make it a little bit hard for us to do sometimes, okay? So what gets in the way of giving? All right, so within yourself, one of the big obstacles is like an inner sense of scarcity or insecurity, right? So if you have this feeling that I don't have enough, right? In terms of myself and my stuff, right? So it could be physical and non-physical, right? If I feel like I don't have enough and I'm not enough, and that if I give away something, it takes away from me when I give it to you, right? That it's diminishing me when I give something away, or that if I give something away, I just won't have enough and I'll be even more scarce than I am right now. That feeling, even if it doesn't logically make sense, often gets in the way. And it might seem on some level that it has to do with actual amounts of stuff that we have. So if like I'm really poor, you might say, well, yeah, of course you feel scarce because you really just don't have much stuff. But people have told stories that they've gone to third world countries and given a child like a piece of bread. And then they see the child run back to the village and split the bread in 8 different parts, giving it out to all the kids in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So even people with very little can come from an abundant mindset and share everything that they have. And really rich people could actually also have a scarcity mindset and be very reluctant to share even a few dollars with people because it feels like it diminishes them in some way. Okay, so you got to think this is not a logical thing. This is an emotional thing, right? It's just a sense that you have that if I give something away, I'm going to be diminished or I'm not going to be enough. Okay, so just kind of feel into that. See if that sounds familiar to you. Okay. Okay, so another thing that gets in the way of giving from our own perspective is that sometimes when we're too preoccupied with our own emotions or our own stressors or the things that are going on with us right now, right? Because when we're going through a lot, it's natural that we kind of like, lick our wounds and kind of like huddle in and try to take care of what's going on within us, right? That, I'm going to be tending to my anxiety or tending to my depressed feelings or tending to my stressor and focusing on myself. And in that mode, it takes a lot for me to remember that there's other people in this world beside me, right? So I really got to do an opposite action to kind of reach outside myself and give. But if I'm going with my emotional mind, I probably may not do that, okay? All right, here's another thing about what gets in the way of giving, our opinions about the receiver. Okay, and there's actually 2 slides on this because there's a lot of judgments and opinions we have about other people that get in the way of giving. And some of them make a lot of sense and some of them might be a little bit more emotional mind driven. You have to gauge it based on the situation, okay? And sometimes our past experience can play into the way we feel about other people now and whether we should give to them, all right? So one thing that gets in the way is if we don't like the person. Like, why should I give her blah, blah? I don't even like her, right? Like, or why should I help this guy? I can't stand him, right? So if we don't like the person, it might be really hard to give to them. Sometimes if we see the person as too different from us, that gets in the way, right? Ever hear people say, well, why would you send money to Guatemala to feed the children when we have starving people right here in the United States, right? Take care of your own first. Don't worry about those other people, right? So sometimes we have a bias where we want to just take care of people in our inner circle or in our group and not reach beyond that to other people, that the charity doesn't extend to like almost anybody in need, right? Another time we might believe that somebody doesn't deserve a gift, right? We might have an opinion about, like, let's say, well, my kid wasn't behaving that well this year. Why should I buy him a Nintendo Switch? He didn't do his homework enough and he wasn't being that good. Why should I buy that for him, right? He doesn't deserve that, right? Or why should I help so-and-so? You know, he's lazy. He should be doing it himself. He doesn't deserve that, right? So sometimes we have, you know, some judgments or opinions about whether someone deserves a gift. Other times we might think, well, they have so much already. Why am I giving to this person? Okay, that could be monetary. It could be material things. Like, let's say you have a rich friend and this friend has a birthday party, right? And you might think, well, what, I have to buy him a gift? He has so much stuff already. What, he has like 10 times more money than me. Why do I have to give him a gift? He already has so much, right? Ever think something like that? Or like if someone's really, really successful and they're doing great and they're succeeding at work and they have a great family and this and that, can it be hard to pay them a compliment sometimes? It's almost like they already have so much. Like, what does it even mean that I'm complimenting them? It's like, for what, right? They already have all that. I don't need to add to that. They already have way more than me anyway, right? So it's almost this, you know, balance of, you know, if I give something away, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for them, right? Okay, excuse me, part 2. All right, another time, which kind of makes sense sometimes, we might be reluctant to give if we're concerned about enabling the person to engage in a certain kind of a dangerous behavior, such as substance abuse, right? You may be reluctant to give a substance abuser money or let them stay at your house for free or give them something that they could then sell and buy drugs with, right? That may be something that you'd be reluctant to give, but that actually would make a lot of sense. It's something that they probably would advise. They might say you can continue to support the person as a person, but not give them material things, right? Or there might be some conditions where you say, well, you know, I'll support you in your treatment, but I'm not going to support you in a way that'll support your drug habit, okay? Other times, we might perceive someone as lazy and be very reluctant to do something to help them. Like if that guy's lounging around the couch, you know, being a couch potato and kind of a bum, be like, well, why should I help him around the house? He can get up and do it. I'm not going to help him. I'm not going to give to him in that way, right? Or why should I contribute to paying all the rent when this guy's just being lazy and he should give all the rent? He should give more rent. He should get off his butt and work and contribute, right? So sometimes that gets in the way. Other times, it's hard for us to give people if we're not sure if they're going to reciprocate, or if we always find ourselves giving to them and we're giving and we don't feel like they're giving much back, right? Then it starts to hurt. We wonder, oh, am I being a doormat, right? Or am I being taken advantage of? Like, why is this such a one-way street? You know, and we might get to a point where we're like, you know what? I don't know if I want to keep helping this person, right? Because he may not give back to me. Other times, we might be afraid the receiver will reject our gift, right? What if you're taking a chance and you want to buy someone a gift that's a reflection of how you feel about them, right? You want to up the relationship. You know, you want to bring it to the new level by buying that special person a special gift. And if they reject that gift, it's almost like they're rejecting you a little too, right? Oh. Okay, so benefits of giving. All right, so if you're reluctant to give, right, we could totally understand that. We could validate that. But there's also benefits of giving. Oh, whoops, sorry. Okay, sorry, there's some noise in the background. I hope that's not getting in the way too much here. So when we want to be a better giver, right, or we want to, like, we feel like we're being too stingy, we feel like we're coming from too much of a place of scarcity, and we know we need to loosen it up, and we want to give a little bit more of ourselves, right, and kind of get better at that. It could help to remind ourselves of some of the benefits of giving, right? So one of the things, which is talked about in DBT actually, is that when we give to others, it takes our mind off of our own problems, right? So there's the contributing skill, and distract with accepts is one of the C's. And when you give to others, when you're in a stressed out state of mind, it helps to take your mind off of your own problems, right? So instead of stewing and worrying about your, what's going on with you, now you're focused on someone else doing something nice, and if they have a positive response, that makes you feel good too, even better. And giving could increase connection, right? Because it's an interaction between us. I'm giving of myself to you, and then you're receiving it, and then there's some kind of back and forth between us. So it can increase our feelings of connection, and therefore it can reduce feelings of isolation and even loneliness, all right? And on the bottom, I have two pictures that are kind of related. It notes that sometimes giving increases our sense of perspective, and it helps us feel more grateful for what we have, right? So if you see one of those commercials with, people in third world countries that don't have access to medical care, and there's like a mercy ship, for example, that's doing these simple surgeries that they never would have had access to otherwise. They're saying only like $20 a month, and it could change someone's life by fixing a split lip or taking out a tumor or something. And you're like, God, for 20 bucks. Well, I'm so glad that I could even afford to do that. It shows me how abundant I am, that I could even give of myself to share, or, it just reminds me that I can give it away, and I could be totally happy to do it and still have plenty of leftover. And that makes me grateful for how much I have. Right. So that's one of the benefits too. Okay. More benefits of giving. It increases happiness and satisfaction and decreases negative feelings, right? We're always trying to be happier, and this is one of the ways to do it, right? But it has to be giving altruistically without strings attached. The other way is a little bit more complicated, right? But if you give freely, it can make you feel happier. It also is shown to reduce stress and improve your health, and it even helps you live longer, right? Especially people who volunteer or have someone else to care for, to be in their life, to connect with through giving. Right? They actually show it increases your health and your lifespan. Not bad, right? Let's package this in a pill. Okay. Okay. So wise mind ways to give. All right. So if you're in DBT, you know that wise mind is an intersection of emotional mind and reasonable mind. It's kind of seeing the whole picture. It's coming from your higher self, your spirit self, the part that sees, all the angles of things and kind of, feels abundant. Okay. So wise mind way to give is from that higher self place of abundance, right? It's the place of pure loving awareness. Okay. That we talk about in mindfulness, right? That we sit back in this place of awareness and we observe everything else. So from that spacious place of awareness, I'm completely abundant, meaning I have more than I'll ever need, right? I'll always be fulfilled. Okay. So when I come from that place, rather than a place of scarcity, it's easier for me to give because I don't feel like I'll ever be depleted, right? That I'll gain more from giving. I'm not going to be less from giving, right? When I give to you, it makes me feel so much fuller, right? Because it brings a satisfaction I can't get in any other way, right? And it's remembering that there's room for everyone to have more than what they need in terms of emotional needs, in terms of success, in terms of we both could be successful, right? I could be wise and you could be wise too. If I'm happy, you could be happy too. And complimenting you or making you feel good or helping you isn't going to take away from my happiness. It's going to add to my happiness, right? So it multiplies, right? It doesn't subtract. And that's what abundance is all about, right? And remembering that giving more to another person doesn't mean there'll be less for you, right? It's just as if that tree in that picture there, it's just like a never-ending supply of leaves and fruit and birds and everything you ever need, okay? So all the emotional goodies are always available, okay, from that place of the wise mind. Okay, and from that same place of the higher self, the pure loving awareness, wise mind, we have also increased personal power that's connected to a higher power, okay? And that's an abundant power, okay? It's not a false power. It's not an egoic-based power. So from this place of power, personal power, from wise mind power, right, we could share without feeling like we're losing our power. We could feel like we're not losing it, right? It's not like it diminishes me to give you a compliment. It's not like it makes me feel less successful if I remind you of what a good job you did and how you're being successful, right? it's not diminishing my power in any way. And if anything, it's making me feel better. It's making me feel fuller. Okay. Another wise mind way to give with altruism. Okay. So altruism means giving without strings attached. Okay. It means like giving from the heart freely. Okay. So this means that you're not expecting anything in return. You give for the sake of giving, and you knowing that you're not going to control the outcome, right? It's between, me and my heart that I'm giving to you, and your response is irrelevant. Okay. I mean, it's nice if you appreciate it. It's nice if you're nice back to me, but that's not the real reason why I'm giving. I'm giving because we're interconnected, and what I give to you, I also get back in some way. Okay. So we have to remember that this could be a little tricky sometimes, because sometimes we think we're being altruistic, but there's really these secret strings in there, such as like, look at how much I'm giving to you. Why can't you just do me that favor? Why can't you at least show me some appreciation? Look how much I'm always helping you out, right? Sometimes parents do that. Or if you try to win over a partner, look how much I'm helping you around the house. Look how much I'm always trying to do things your way. Look how much I'm trying to please you. But there's also that, so can't you love me back? Can't you be who I want you to be? Can't you show me the acceptance I always wanted? Can't you perfectly mirror me, right? We have these expectations, even though we try to deny that we have these expectations, okay? So we have to be careful about that. Showing love, knowing I may not be loved in return, right? Or helping someone out, knowing that they may not help me back. And that's really hard, right? It takes a big heart to do that. Not that you have to continue to do that if it feels like someone's taking advantage of you, but the initial reason for the giving is no strings, okay? So we have to watch what they call the prostitute archetype, and even like a martyr archetype. So if you're doing a prostitute archetype, it's basically like you're sacrificing yourself, you're sacrificing your values just to get your needs met. So it almost looks a little altruistic, like, look at all the things I'm doing for you. I'm doing whatever you want me to do. I'm doing more than even my fair share. But there's always that, but I'm hoping you're going to meet my needs in some way. Okay. Also, in the martyr archetype is also that, look at how much I've done for you. Wow. And look how you treat me. You're not even grateful. So that's like an expectation that you're supposed to get a certain type of response, but that doesn't always happen. Okay. All right. So just be mindful of these things. Okay. So now, if you're looking for ways to give, right? There's many different types of ways to give. So if you're aiming to be a more giving person, these are just some suggestions you could follow in the slides to come. They actually correspond to the 7 chakras, okay, which are 7 energy centers in our body that are associated with different physiological responses and different types of energy and types of things like that. Okay, I got it from a book by Carolyn Mace, who talks about those sorts of things. But if you don't know about that, it's not going to get in the way of you understanding this. Okay. So, so giving from chakra 1 is a gift of the earth, right? So this is the root chakra that connects us to others and to the tribe and to, bigger groups. Okay. So this is donating things that are more material. So like food, clothing, shelter, giving of those types of things to people. Okay. Another type of gift from the 2nd chakra, which has to do with more your worth, okay, has to do with financial support. Like, so if you gave someone money, okay, or even creative support, because this is like where your womb is, that's where that chakra is, and it's like giving birth to something. So if you help someone give birth to an idea or some kind of creation that they're working on, creative ideas in a project or something, that's a type of gift, right? So if we're working together on, a mural, or we're working together on an important project, right? Or we're writing something together, that's creative support. And that's another way of giving of ourselves. Gifts of self-esteem. So that's the 3rd chakra, okay? So sometimes this is more like free. It doesn't necessarily cost anything, but it's like an emotional gift, right? So we're giving, let's say, support and feedback to a friend. We're helping someone when they're struggling. We're being there for somebody. We're giving the gift of our presence, of our lending an ear, okay? Responding to a text when someone really reaches out. Showing someone respect, like realizing who they are as a person and reflecting that back to them, that I deeply respect you for who you are, even if you make some mistakes, right? And offering praise and appreciation of people, you know, like recognizing the good that people do and expressing that, okay? Another kind of gift is fourth chakra, gift from the heart, okay? So this is when we give things like kindness. That makes us think of love, right? So kindness, love, when we forgive people, that's a gift. You know, when we let go of a resentment and we set them free from our resentment, we set ourselves free, that's a gift from the heart. When we give compassion, when we're with someone in their time of suffering, that's a gift from the heart, okay? Next, gift of the will. This is our throat chakra, fifth chakra. Okay, so think about, we're talking. This is where our voice box is. We're expressing ourselves. So this is when you give the gift of having the courage to tell someone the truth. It's like radical genuineness that they talk about in DBT, right? It's a type of validation. It's about maybe confronting someone about a problem they have. Like, dude, you don't look good to me. What's going on? You know, or have you relapsed? Is there something happening with you? You having trouble with your wife, right? Maybe there's something you need to say. Or, you know what, it really hurt me last week when you did da 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 da. Okay? So speaking honestly, but, you know, with kindness, with good judgment. Okay? So you don't want to hurt someone with your truth. You want to, you know, be honest in a way that's helpful. Okay, next, sixth chakra, gift of the mind. Okay, this is the third eye point where it's the gateway to wisdom and intuition. Okay, so when intuition flows through us, we have a certain level of wisdom that's sometimes beyond what we normally would come up with ourselves. And if we're able to access that and share that, our gift of wisdom could be a great gift to somebody. Sometimes it's even, you know, sharing a personal experience that allowed you to grow and gain wisdom. And that helps a lot, okay? And gifts of the spirit, okay? So this is your seventh chakra, it's a crown chakra. So this is like a little more spiritual in nature, which may or may not be your cup of tea, but you know, it's something that people talk about and feel sometimes. So it's kind of like, this is the gateway between the divine and the human, that the spirit comes in through the crown chakra, right? They say. So it's as if you allow the divine to work through you, that you're the channel, and that there's higher self divine energy expressing itself to others and allowing you to give to others through that channel, through that energy. Okay. So sometimes it's like a certain way of inspiring somebody. It's just the kind of presence you can offer that's just like a pure loving presence. I like the expression I heard one time recently called be the answer to someone's prayer today, right? Just kind of sensing in what way you can be there for that person. And sometimes the best gift you can give, especially if you can't reach the person or you don't know the person, is a gift of prayer or remembering a certain person or group of people through a loving kindness practice, right? So loving kindness practice is done in, you know, Buddhist, you know, types practices, but it could be done by anybody. And it's like basically wishing people well. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be free of suffering, things like that. And you bring different kinds of people to mind when you do it. And just offering someone that spiritual gift of love and kindness could even impact the way, you know, you interact with them when you finally do see them. Okay. Or, you know, just saying, if you're more religious, saying a prayer for the person. Okay. And I believe that's the end. All right. So I hope this helps and makes you a better giver. Remember to tune into some of the obstacles that might get in the way of giving, you know, and determine if they're wise mind obstacles or emotional mind obstacles, and if you need to work them through. But where possible, you know, giving helps us connect better with people and improve our relationships and improve the way we feel about ourselves and our happiness. So it always pays to learn how to be a smart and better wise mind giver. Okay, so best of luck in that for you and in your journey. And I'll see you the next time. All right, bye everybody.